Single Dad opened the door for his blind date, then froze when she whispered, "My kids are in the car." Jake had always thought dating in his late 30s would be simple, maybe even a little fun. But after years of balancing a demanding job and raising 2 kids on his own, the idea of meeting someone new felt intimidating. Tonight, though, he decided to try. Standing outside the small, warmly lit cafe, he checked his watch nervously. He'd picked this spot because it was quiet enough for conversation, but lively enough to feel safe. As he straightened his jacket, a car pulled up across the street. The passenger door opened and a woman stepped out, her movements careful, deliberate. She looked confident, yet there was something soft in her posture, a quiet strength that immediately drew him in. He walked over and held the door for her. "Hi, I'm Jake," he said, smiling. She smiled back but then leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "Hi, my kids are in the car." Jake froze. For a moment he didn't know what to say. Then he noticed the small hands pressed against the window, and the wide, curious eyes of 2 little faces peeking out from the back seat. His heart sank and soared at the same time. Dating had always been complicated, but dating with kids in the mix? That was a whole different level. That's okay," he managed, his brain scrambling for the right words. Her laugh was gentle, almost embarrassed. "I should have mentioned that." Jake realized this wasn't just a first date. It was a glimpse into someone's life, the kind of life that took courage to share. And he admired her for it. He stepped back, gesturing for her to lead the way. "Well, let's grab coffee." "Kids are welcome too." The woman, whose name was Emma, smiled in relief. They found a small table by the window, and for the first few minutes, the conversation was a little awkward. Jake stealing glances at the car, Emma glancing toward it, but then something remarkable happened. Jake and Emma began talking about ordinary things, favorite books, movies, guilty pleasures. But then Emma shared stories about her kids, how they loved drawing superheroes, how bedtime was a nightly adventure, and how, despite the chaos, they made her world brighter. Without realizing it, Jake started sharing his own stories about his kids, the soccer practices, the bedtime negotiations, the little victories that made him feel proud and exhausted at the same time. For the first time in years, he felt like he could talk openly about his life without fear of judgment. An hour passed, and outside, the kids were laughing as they climbed out of the car, running up to the cafe. Jake watched Emma's face light up, a mix of pride and tenderness that left him speechless. Then the unexpected happened. One of her kids, a little girl with wild curls, toddled over to Jake and offered him a drawing she'd made, a crayon rainbow with stick figures. "For you," she said, beaming. Jake knelt down to accept it, genuinely touched. "Thank you. This is amazing." He looked at Emma, who seemed both nervous and hopeful, and he realized something profound. The act of kindness, the willingness to embrace someone else's world, had instantly created a connection stronger than any first-date small talk could. By the end of the evening, as they all walked out together laughing and chatting, Jake understood that love wasn't about perfection or smooth introductions. It was about patience, acceptance, and showing up, even when life was messy. Driving home later, Jake tucked the rainbow drawing into his jacket pocket. He smiled, thinking about the evening. It hadn't gone as planned, but it had gone perfectly. And in that perfect imperfection, he had found something rare: hope, connection, and the gentle reminder that kindness can change everything. Sometimes, he realized, the moments that make us freeze are the ones that teach us how to truly live. Over the next few weeks, Jake and Emma began seeing each other more. But it was never just dates. Every meeting included her kids, and slowly, Jake's own kids too. The first time he brought them along, he worried about how everyone would get along. But as soon as the kids started playing together in the backyard of a small park cafe, their laughter filled the air, breaking any tension. Emma watched Jake effortlessly engage with her kids, asking questions, joining in their silly games, and listening attentively. It wasn't just charm, it was genuine care, something her heart had been quietly hoping to find. And Jake noticed the same in her: patience, warmth, and the ability to make every child feel seen. One Saturday afternoon, after a shared ice cream run, Emma turned to Jake and whispered, "You know, I didn't expect this. But I think they really like you. Jake looked at the kids sprawled across the park bench, eating ice cream with sticky hands, giggling and teasing each other. They looked happy, safe, and completely at ease. He felt a lump in his throat, not from fear or doubt this time, but from gratitude. I like them too, he said softly. A lot. As autumn arrived, their little blended family had formed its own rhythms. Weekends were filled with soccer games, movie nights with popcorn everywhere, and spontaneous trips to the local library. It wasn't perfect. There were spills, tantrums, and the occasional disagreement, but it was real, and it was theirs. One evening, after tucking the kids into bed, Jake and Emma sat on the porch with mugs of hot chocolate. The sky was painted in shades of orange and purple, and for a moment, everything was quiet except for the soft chirping of crickets. I never imagined my first date with you would lead here, Emma admitted, resting her head on his shoulder. Jake smiled, thinking back to the moment she whispered about her kids in the car, the moment that had made him freeze and rethink everything he thought he knew about love. Sometimes the scariest moments turn out to be the most important ones, he said. Emma looked at him, eyes glistening. And sometimes the people willing to embrace them, they're the ones who make everything better. Jake squeezed her hand, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the cocoa. He realized that kindness, simple, courageous, and genuine, had led him to this unexpected happiness. It had opened doors he hadn't dared knock on before, not just to love, but to family. As the kids' laughter echoed from upstairs, Jake whispered to Emma, I think we're going to be okay. More than okay, we're going to be amazing. And in that moment, under the soft glow of the porch light, they both knew it was true. Love, after all, wasn't about the perfect plan or smooth beginnings. It was about showing up, embracing the chaos, and letting kindness guide the way.